What's up? If you're like me, you tend to skip your foam rolling and recovery sessions, so let's get into it. You're gonna need a foam roller today and a little massage ball. A tennis ball, lacrosse ball, anything this size works. All right, let's get into it. So I'm gonna get my foam roller, pop it out parallel to the short side of my mat, and just lay right on top of it. And I'm kind of placing that foam roller by the shoulder blades. I'm gonna lift my hips, hands come over my head, and I'm just rolling up and down. We're just starting to roll the length of the mid-back. So from just under the shoulder blades to right up to the shoulders. We're just going back and forth until we find any tense spots. So if anything kind of pops out to you, you're more than welcome to stay on it. And then just add a little bit of deeper, smaller movements, like you're oscillating on that spot. So my hips are down. I'm keeping my core tight still. I'm just pivoting the shoulder blades over that foam roller, lifting and lowering the shoulders. All right, once I feel like I get that knot out, maybe I'll start moving in a different direction. So for myself, I'm starting to move side to side. Once again, just moving through this until you start to release that tension. And then what I usually do is I'll start to roll up and down, but I'll kind of hang out more to the upper back and the shoulders a little bit. And then slow but sure, I'll just make any last minute movements here before coming all the way up. And let's flip it over and we'll move to the chest. So I love to use a massage ball for the chest. I just find it's a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes using a foam roller is a touch awkward. So I'm gonna take that ball, just gonna place it to the middle of the chest and then roll up toward the shoulder. I usually kind of just roll in this pattern, almost with a little bit of an arc as I open up that pec. Right now, if you want to add more intensity here, you're always welcome to use both hands, pressing on the ball. I like to start with one. And just kind of start opening up, getting the blood flowing. And then from here, I've started to find a place that is feeling a little bit tight for me. So now those movements are going to get a bit smaller. Maybe I'm oscillating on them, a little bit more of a circular motion. I'm just gonna wiggle through it until I start to release that tension. Right, kind of even sneak up toward that front delt. As we're moving through this, we are still connected to breath. So some nice long, deep cycles. Trying not to breathe in a ragged manner. Trying not to get the breath caught up through the upper chest or the upper body, but into the chest. All right. Now as that starts to release, we can switch over and move to the other side. Again, starting with the ball kind of to the center of the chest, I move it in a bit of an arcing position up the back. And while this practice is a little bit uncomfortable, ultimately, we are looking for release. We are looking for a bit of rest and recovery. So try to find a place where you're pushing hard enough that you're able to move some of the tension out of the muscles. But we're not pushing so hard that this is excruciating, that this experience is just really, really uncomfortable. Remind you, at the beginning, it is really uncomfortable, unfortunately, but it does get easier as we go, I promise. Now I've started to localize some of that tension, so I'm going to start oscillating a little bit and just start really concentrating on the space that's feeling tight. Just breathe into it. And let it all open up. We'll be here for just a few more cycles. All right. From here, we're gonna move in towards our lats. I'm taking my ball, just popping it back into its home there. I'm grabbing my foam roller. So I'm gonna set it down. I'm kind of aiming for right under the armpit here. This one tends to be quite tight for a lot of people. So if this is your first time doing it, be nice and slow. Now I usually take this top leg, I'll just kind of step it out behind me. This bottom arm is straight. I'm just going to start by rolling up and down. So I lift my bottom hip a little bit, so I'm able to kind of roll a bit smoother. For some of us that may feel uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to keep the bottom hip rooted and just have these little mini rolls like I'm doing now. It's just whatever feels comfy. Once again, this part of the body tends to be quite tight, so you might feel a bit uncomfortable here. Now, after we kind of roll it up and down, once again, you'll find that tense spot. So for me, kind of locked it in right here. What I'll start doing is moving back and then moving forward. It's a little bit of a rock and roll as I dig out that tense spot in the lat. Nice. All right, now what I like to do, just kind of roll back a touch. So we're getting a little bit more connection of the shoulders onto that foam roller. And then just hit those mini rolls. Ooh, this one tends to kick me in the ass. A little bit of the posterior delt here. Maybe you find that tense spot and you just pause. Maybe you sway a little bit. Stay for about 2 more cycles. Last breath in. Whew. Let's come off that side. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So a lot of sensation happening, I know, but we're getting through it together. The same thing, and we're coming right down under the armpit here. And just arrive. Some of us may just have to sit and pause and breathe, especially if that sensation is really intense. Otherwise, top leg sweeps back. Maybe you're able to pick up the hip and just start rocking and rolling up that side body. All right, alternatively, the hip stays down and those rolls are just a little bit less long. Once again, you may find somewhere that feels pretty tight. So I've locked mine in, and I'm just starting to shift backward and forward. Doesn't have to be big movements. Just trying to release that ball of tension, that little knot that's hidden throughout the body. All right, as that starts to ease out, let's shift more into the posterior delt. So I'm kind of leaning back, and as I do, the shoulders are coming in connection with that foam roller. So you may have to roll that roller up a little bit, body down, roller up, so you get that connection. And then once you arrive, just make those little mini rolls here. So we open up those shoulders. You may even pause. You may rock back and forth a little bit, seeing how that feels, if that opens anything up for you. I always find tension in this part of my body, that is for sure. Let's take about 2 cycles here. All right, then let's exhale, come on up. Okay, so keeping the foam roller where it is, let's bring that right to or right above the knee. All right, find your hands and knees position. Maybe you're sliding the non-working leg out a little bit. We're just gonna start rocking up and down the quad. Breaths are long and deep, making sure we're not slumping into the upper back. And core is nice and tight, not letting those ribs flare. And you may find that oscillation. As you find that knot, that little spot of tension, maybe just start to rock forward and back onto it. Something else that I like to do is bend the knee and kind of lift up that leg and then oscillate and add a bit more intensity here. It's just really about what your body wants today with our foam rolling session. We're gonna hang for a few more cycles as we work out those quads. Go big. Let's go big breath in. And let's come out. Ooh, same thing, other side. So I'm just starting my foam roller a little bit above that knee, finding my hands and knees position. So I go onto forearms, non-working leg slides out, and then we'll start to rock back and forth. So you don't have to be on forearms here. You can be on hands. It's just about making it feel good for you. And we have these few techniques that we use, but ultimately we're just searching for the tension and the knots. We're trying to move that out. A friendly reminder, a part of moving that out is controlling the breath. Right? We want to bring our nervous system into its most calm and relaxed state. And we can do that by having those long, deep belly breaths. As we're exploring this quad, you may have started to notice where the tension is really residing. So feel free to find your oscillations now. Just those small mini movements through those knots, really specifically trying to get them out. And I've bent my knee. I'm creating a little more sensation, a little more intensity through that leg. It is up to you if you'd like to join me. We'll be here for 2 more cycles of breath. Last cycle in. And with that exhale, we'll come out. All right, let's go into the hips. Always feel good. So really similar setup to the lat. This case, we're just starting down here. So I've got my foam roller parallel to the short side of the mat. I'm placing the hip onto that foam roller. My forearms on the ground, and my top leg is stepped over like this. Now you may prefer to step it backwards, that's fine as well. But we'll start by just foam rolling up and down through the side of the leg. So it gives you any reference. I usually start at my hip bone and then roll down just to the bottom of the glute max there. Now, I just like to go nice and slow. So I'm really figuring out where that tension lives. And I've just found mine. So we can start that oscillation. Just notice I'm really driving the movement through this top leg, creating these mini movements. As that starts opening up, we want to get a little deeper. Maybe you'll start to rock forward and back, just like we did in that lat. Another really nice option is to lift and lower the stretching leg. So this straight leg down here, we can float the foot up, float it down. When I do this, I like to step the top leg back. You can see. Just a little lift and lower here. Nice. And as that tension starts to relieve a little bit, what we can do is shift the weight back. So I'm gonna come up to my hands and just kind of shift the glute onto the foam roller versus the side. And then just same thing. Give it a little bit of a roll up and down. Nice. The last 2 cycles of breath. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Just shifting it over. Bringing that foam roller under your hip bone, forearm to the mat, and we'll just start rocking and rolling up and down the side of the leg. Just searching for your tension and enjoying all of the little release that that foam roller is providing for you today. I get it, and this practice is so easy to skip. It's a little bit uncomfortable. It's easy to just brush past it. It's like, no way that this is giving me so many benefits. But really, truly it is. It's a great tool for recovery. So if you're in the gym plenty during the week, this is gonna be a fantastic way to end that week, to give your body a little bit of rest and recovery, and to really check in with yourself, noticing how you're doing so you can kick off the next week of working out really strong. Now I'm gonna start oscillating a little bit. I found my spot here, so those movements get small. And just remember, move at your own pace. But I know for myself, I get really caught up in the go, go, go mindset. And it can be difficult to step back, to focus on a practice that's a little bit more breath oriented, to focus on a practice that's a little bit slower. So yeah, I hope this video helps you out. I hope that your foam rolling practice gets a little bit more consistent. At least you got a friend to do it with now. All right, now for me, this knot is kind of dissipated a little bit, so I'm gonna flip to my glute, coming up to the hand, kind of rolling the way back. So now my glute or my bum is on the foam roller. I'm just gonna slide up and down, give it a little last minute roll through, releasing anything. And we're gonna call it quits after this. You killed it. You committed to a bit of recovery today. I think we're all good to go. Go 2 more breaths. Last breath in. Letting it go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me for a little foam rolling session, and I will see you on the next one.